Well, welcome to the video everyone. We're at the beautiful Sebring for a 30-minute sprint race, multi-class. I'm driving an LMP2. We also have LMP3s and GT3s. I'm starting from the back of the grid as I've only had about 15 minutes practice. Still getting up to speed with the new week's daily races. Did 5 races today, this being the first as I've said. The next 3 races were absolutely shocking, ended early. I'm going to show you some of the lowlights of those races before we get into this race proper. So this is race 2. Escalante behind gives me a clip, and then we all decide to go roly-poly and go airborne. Here's a trackside view, and you can see the extent of the incident. And another view, because I love seeing the pain. Finally we're on board with Escalante, and as you can see here, he's trying to get past the car in front and just moves over and gives me a clip, and all hell breaks loose. So not a good start for race 2. In fact, race 2 was ended, and now in race 3 I come around the corner at turn 1 and there's a GT3 just waiting in the middle of the track. Here's another view from my cockpit. Yep, you can imagine my surprise as I was coming around the corner. Here's the third person view. Yeah. Now let's see why he was there. So he spins out going into turn 1. And then he makes a dangerous re-entry and he gets clipped. And he sits here for about 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. I've just clipped it out, and then he pulls out. So I think he was waiting for a good opportunity, but he just managed to pick me out. Now we're on board with Turner behind, so he comes around turn 1 and he sees me spinning. He's probably laughing his head off, I'd say. And now in turn 4, this is the last corner of the circuit, and I absolutely plebbed it. Self-inflicted wounds, as Joe Bonamassa would say, and pretty much my race ended. And here's from the cockpit view. Yep, that was a good 3 races. Now let's get back to the live action.
Yellow flag. We think that Vullo and Peters have pinned it in turn 1.
Well, let's have a look at an incident that just happened behind the LMP3s. Looks like he locked up, and yeah, then he gets tagged and sits there. Let's get back to the live action.
Green flag sector 1.
Well, at this stage of the race, I'm just trying to keep it clean, keep it safe, try and get around the first lap or 2 without getting involved in any carnage. And if any moves become available, I'll go for it, but really just going to hang back and see what happens.
Suarez has retired.
Well, let's see what happened to Suarez. Suarez is on the inside, getting pinned against a barrier. He slows down, doesn't want to go 3 or 4 wide into turn 1. And then gets clipped by an LMP3. Let's get on board with the LMP3. He gets clipped and gets turned and takes Suarez out. Let's get on board with the GT3 in question. Yeah, that's pretty poor. Now let's get back to the live action.
Yellow flag, caution. We think Santana has stacked it.
Well, let's see what happened to Santana. He clips that barrier by the looks of it. Yeah, we're on board with him. Third person view. Yeah, clips the barrier back onto the track. Absolutely destroying his tyres, probably. Now let's get back to the live action.
Incident in Sector 3. Sector 3 is yellow. Sector 2 is clear.
So as we go into the hairpin, you can see the guy in front runs very deep, so I'm very
Left
wary
side,
of him
clear left.
re-entering the track, but as you can
Yellow
see,
flag in Sector 2.
he spun out. Let's have a bit of a look at what happened there. So he runs very deep and off the track. Yeah, and spins out. So lucky he spun to the left and not to
Green
the right.
flag,
If he
Sector
had
2.
to the right, he may have taken me out. So
Alright,
happy days for
the
me.
next car is
Let's
Villeneuve.
get back to the live action. As I'm making this video a number of days after this race, in an actual race I was actually taken out at that corner by a car spinning out back onto the track and destroying me, so yeah, could easily have happened there as well.
The gap in front is now 1.5. The leader has just done a 147.1. P8. Yellow flag. Roth is leading the race. We think Poulin has gone off in Christensen. Sector 1 is green. Poulin has just retired from the race.
Well, it looks like P1 has plebbed it at turn 1, so let's go have a look at the replay. And he runs very wide at turn 1. And I'll give that spin about a 10 out of 10. Let's get on board with Coulson. Now this guy is very, very quick. I've raced him a number of times and he just leaves me for dead, so makes me feel a little better when the very best racers pleb it, because I've done it plenty of times this week at Sebring. Now let's get back to the live action.
Sector 3 is clear. The gap to Villeneuve ahead is now 0.8. It looks like Hensley has binned it in Sunset. Hensley has just retired. Yellow flag in Sector 1. It looks like Giuseppe has stacked it in the hairpin. Sector 1 is now green. Fastest lap for Salazar, 148.7. P7. You're locking your right front going into the hairpin. coming up on a slower class car. Okay, Mons, stay close. Wait for him to make a mistake.
Right side. Clear right.
Well, it looks like Sunset has got another victim with Felton spinning out and hitting the barrier.
Yellow flag, sector 3.
Let's have
Sector
a
1
look
is yellow.
at the
Fulton is
replay.
now retired.
Now, I think he said in the comments later that that LMP3 in front overslowed, which meant he had to go on the brakes a little bit harder than he thought. Now let's get on board. So yeah, he probably was spooked a bit by that LMP3. And,
Green flag, sector 3.
let's get back to the live
We
action.
can see Ted has crashed in. Christensen, sector 1 is clear. Sector 2 is yellow. P6. We think Peters and Racing have spun off in Cunningham.
Well, let's get on board with Peters as we go to the hairpin. The LMP3 in front runs very deep, gets on the power late, and now they're both neck and neck. The LMP3 goes off the track on the inside, hits the curb, would have slowed down, then gets into the path of Peters, and then drifts over to the outside as they go into the braking zone and sending Peters into the barrier. Let's get back to the live action, and as you can see in the comments, I don't think Peters was all that impressed, and I'd have to say I wouldn't be impressed either. We'll be back in the live action.
Yellow flag in sector 1. Looks like P4 has gone off in turn 5. Green flag.
Now let's look at a couple of incidents involving the LMP3s. That's P1 in the black LMP3, spins out, coming around the corner, and then gets a nasty surprise when he sees another LMP3, and that's P3. So both P1 and P3 have spun out at the same corner.
Flag in sector 1. Slower class car ahead.
Easily
Peters
done, I
has retired
say.
from the race.
Now let's get back to the live action.
Left side.
Sector 1, yellow flag.
Clear left.
We think Ginn has gone off in turn 1. Sector 1 is green. That's a new fastest lap for Roth, 148.0. Green flag in sector 2. Your lap time was 149.7. Sector 2 is now yellow. We think that Giuseppe has gone off in Cunningham. Sector 2 is clear.
Well, it looks like P4 and P5 are having a really good battle. Raced both of these races many times, both very clean, very fast.
Come on, we need to be in front of this guy.
And I'm just going to hang back and wait for an opportunity should it come my way.
The car in front of us is Zeng. Sector 1 is yellow. We can see Riley has gone off in turn 5.
Well, let's see what happens to Riley. Coming third in the LMP3, spins out and makes a very bad rejoin and takes out LMP2 and the GT3. Now we're on board with P1 and the GT3s. Yeah, luckily he was able to get through and not ruin his race and carry on. Now let's get back to the live action.
Sector 1 is now green. You've just done a 149.7.
Well, we're right behind Kevin as we go into this corner, and yeah, he loses the rear end. Let's have a look at the replay. He drops it back to first, and then yeah, loses the rear end. So not quite sure what happened there. Maybe
it's gone off
a
in
better idea than I
green
did.
flag sector 1.
Let's get back to the
Okay,
live action.
Bonds, the next car is Villeneuve. The gap in front is now 1.1. Yellow flag. It looks like Ginn has binned it in tower.
Now as we approach this corner, we can see Giles in front has just lost the rear end a little and lost a lot of exit speed and has pulled over to the inside.
On your right.
And I think he may have just
Hold your line.
let me by. Yeah, I think he has. Now he stays on the inside.
Clear right.
That's
And
the stuff. We'll have some
Giles
more
is
of
a
that.
very clean driver and
The guy in
doesn't
front
take
is
unnecessary
Salazar.
risks. So we got on the brakes a little bit earlier to let me by. Thanks, mate.
Green flag in
I'll
sector
say
2.
I've raced
Okay,
Giles
Bonds,
many
just keep
times
hitting your
and,
marks. This is looking good.
Very
P4.
similar pace. Very good racer.
You're coming up on some slower cars. These guys are busy fighting. They might not notice you.
On your left. Clear left.
Yellow flag.
On your right. Clear right.
It looks like Toledo has gone off in turn 5.
Now let's move to a third person view. We're approaching the hairpin. The LMP3 drifts over to the left, makes contact, and then he outbrakes himself going into this corner and makes contact with me. I then ricochet onto the GT3 and then onto Giles. We're on board with the LMP3. As you can see, he hits me and then I ricochet onto Giles. Then he gets hit again. Now we're on board with Giles. He brakes nice and safe and yeah, gets taken out. So I imagine he's not very happy with that. Now let's get back to the live action.
Right side.
Live action.
Clear right.
You've had quite a lot of aero damage. You might need to come in and get it fixed.
Well, we can see that I've now got a fair bit of damage. I've got front and rear orange
Yellow
damage
flag. Caution.
and yellow rear suspension damage.
We think Howell has stacked it
Which
in
means
tower.
I'm probably
Green
going to
flag
lose a
sector
bit
2.
of top end speed and some downforce around those faster corners. Poor old
Slower
Giles
class car
behind has
ahead.
lost around 4 seconds due to that incident. And which is not a good outcome for him, obviously.
Ginn has retired.
Left side.
Incident.
Clear left.
The gap to Salazar. Ahead is now 2.5. It looks like Matty has crashed in turn 1.
Car left. Clear left.
Green flag sector
Yep,
1.
and look ahead, that
Car left,
LMP3
clear
has
left.
spun out.
Yellow flag
Sunset
sector
gets
3.
another victim. And you go,
We
it's
think that
slow
Howell has
motion
gone
death
off
when
in
you,
sunset.
when you spin
Sector
out
3
there.
is clear. Green flag. The gap to P5 behind is now 3.1 seconds. The gap ahead is now
Left side. Clear left. On your left. Clear left.
racing. It's just retired from the race. We think that Villeneuve has stacked it in Le Mans.
Well, let's see what happens to Giles. Yeah, that's not a good feeling when that happens.
Sector 3 is now clear.
Let's get
Yellow
back
flag in
to
Sector 1.
live action.
There's a group of slower cars ahead. We can see March Yellow. It's gone off in Turn 5.
On your left.
Sector 1 is green.
Clear left.
That was 149.
Right side. Clear right. On your right. Hold your line. Still there. Clear right.
Slower class car ahead. Incident in Sector 1.
Left side. Clear left.
Incident in Sector 3. Sector 3.
Car right. Clear right.
Green flag in Sector 3. Toledo is now retired. Green flag, Sector 1, the gap to P3. Ahead is increasing. It's now 4.4 seconds. Slower cars ahead. The class leaders in this group. These guys are scrapping for position. The gap to Zeng behind.
Car left.
Well, we can see there
Clear
in the
left.
standings
Car
on the left-hand side
Clear
that
left.
P1 for the GT3s was able to remain in P1 after that incident involving the dangerous rejoin with the LMP3. And I get this corner really bad and I nearly plever into the barrier. So thankfully I didn't and are able to continue.
The car in front has just posted a 148.0.
Well, let's mix it up and we'll get on board with Salazar in P3 as he's chasing down Turner in P2. They said after the race that they had a fantastic battle, so I want to try and capture a little bit of that in this video if I can. Now Turner gets slowed down by that LMP3 in front, and that GT3 nearly causes a bit of contact there. Now he's 0.2 behind Turner. Loses a little bit of time coming out of the hairpin. So I imagine this was a pretty good battle. It's always really nice when you get a good battle with someone of a similar pace. Yeah, Salazar has a bit of a moment there, and in the space of one corner loses about 6 or 7 tenths. So let's get back to the live action from my cockpit. And Salazar and Turner will continue battling for the rest of the race, and we'll show you a little bit more of their battle a little
Green
bit
flag,
later.
Sector 1, Santana has just retired.
Now if you have a look at the standings at the bottom left, you'll see that the 2 LMP3s in front of me have the naughty red badge, so I'm very, very wary
Car left.
of overtaking them because you just never know.
Left side. Clear left.
They may be the innocent victims of some incidents, or maybe the cause, you just never know. But they seem to be having a good battle during the race. Now let's just see how we go, whether we can make up any more positions.
That time was a 150.12.
Well, we heard over the comms that Santana had
now,
retired from the
5.9.
race, and you can see here he says in the text that you hit me on the straight. Let's see what happens. Going into turn 2, gets taken out and goes into the barrier. Race over by the sounds of it, and we're on board with P1 for the LMP2's Wrath. And I mean, it was an accident, but has destroyed Santana's race. So these things happen, unfortunately.
Slower class car ahead.
But I don't think the fault is on the GT3 at all. But I'll be interested to hear your opinions on it.
Incident in Sector 2, yellow flag. Sector 2's green. Okay, Mons, 5 minutes to go, 5 minutes left.
Left side. Clear left.
Howell has retired from the race.
Well, Howell is complaining that the guy in front broke really early, and as we can see here, he breaks at the 400 mark, and which meant that Howell jumped on the
Incident in
brakes
Sector 1,
and
yellow
spun
flag.
out into the barrier.
Yellow flag.
Race over. Now, I'm not sure what the braking markers are for the LMP3s there, but in the LMP2s, mine is just after 300 board.
Car right.
So 400
Clear
does
right.
seem a little bit early. In the text there, Crunch seems to be unhappy with the actions of a LMP2 driver. As you can see here, his GT3 was taken out going into that corner. Let's get on board with Turner. And he just taps him on the rear end, obviously not on purpose, which is not a good outcome for the GT3. Let's get back to the live action.
Lap 149.34.
We can see Roth has binned it in Christensen. Green flag in
Looks like
Sector 1.
P1 for the LMP2s has plebbed it at turn 1. We're on board with Wrath. And I think he runs a bit too wide, remains on the power, and spins out. Here's a different view. It's one hell of a crash though, isn't it? Here's the third person view. Runs very wide. He doesn't let off the power, and here, race over.
Roth has just retired from the race.
As you would after that crash. Let's get back to the live action. Now we can see Turner and Salazar have moved up as a position, and so have I. And at this stage of the race, I'm thinking to myself, I haven't really done much, but I'm in P3. Happy days. Let's see how the race continues.
Coming up on a slower class car, the gap to Salazar ahead is now 4.0 seconds.
Well, at this stage of the race, I'm thinking to myself, there's no way in the world I'm going to get, or going to catch P2, so, and I'm under no threat from P4 behind, so I'm not taking any risks. And I'm just going to play it safe.
On your left. Still there. Clear left.
Well, as you can see from the Delta, I've dropped back to nearly 8 seconds behind P3, so obviously traffic has hindered me. We're on board with Salazar, and we're just going to get on board with these two fellas just to look over the last couple of minutes and see how their battle unfolds. What a great battle to be half a second behind after nearly 30 minutes of racing is pretty awesome. Particularly with all the traffic they would have hit. And every time Salazar gets a sniff, he seems to hit traffic, which is always the way in multi-class racing, or should I say, happens often. And that's the beauty of multi-class racing, isn't it? Yeah, as you just saw, Salazar hit that traffic just at the wrong point and lost a good 4 or 5 tenths. Now he's got a bit more ground to make up. And just from observing, it looks as if certain parts of the circuit Salazar is a little bit faster, and certain parts of the circuit Turner is faster. I suppose that makes sense. And now we head into the last lap. Who's going to be in front at the end? This is really good by the LMP3 driver. He obviously reads the room and sees that P1 and P2 are battling and pulls over to let Salazar pass. It's always good to see that sort of sportsmanship when you race. Well, thanks everyone for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. This was an absolute cracker of a race. Really enjoyed it. Lots of carnage, lots of incidents, lots of overtakes, lots of mistakes. As I said, for me, this was the first race of the new weeklies, so I imagine everybody's still getting used to the new combo. Lap times will obviously improve as the week goes on, and obviously mistakes you'd like to think would become fewer and fewer in the races. But congratulations to the boys in front. They looks like they've run a really good race between them. Nice and clean for the most part. And we'll come back after the race finishes and do our final Cheerios. Well, after 30 minutes, only 0.2 of a second between them. That's one hell of a race they would have enjoyed, I imagine. As we look at the results, came third, gained a little bit of driver rank and safety rank, up 6 positions. Not a great lap time. And gained a little bit of driver rank and safety rank. But thanks everyone for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you in the next one. Ciao for now.